Chicago, Illinois, where the winds aren't the only thing that can blow your day apart in seconds. What started as a routine Monday morning in downtown Chicago turned into the most spectacular instant karma moment when one driver decided that his car horn was a weapon of mass irritation, and he was ready to deploy it on every single person who dared exist near him. This road rage symphony lasted exactly 12 minutes before the universe orchestrated the most beautiful, soul-satisfying response that left witnesses literally cheering in the streets. The dashcam footage and security camera angles captured something so perfectly comic that it's been viewed over 15 million times across social media platforms. This wasn't occasional honking at legitimate traffic violations, this was weaponized noise terrorism directed at pedestrians crossing legally, cyclists following traffic laws, delivery drivers doing their jobs, and even a funeral procession that had the audacity to move slowly through an intersection. The aggressive driver laid on his horn continuously, creating a sound assault so obnoxious that shop owners came outside to see what lunatic was destroying the morning peace. His horn became the soundtrack to everyone's misery as he progressed through downtown, honking at red lights as if the sound waves could magically change them to green, honking at cars that weren't moving fast enough in his royal opinion. But here's where this instant karma story becomes legendary. The driver picked the absolute worst possible victim for his final honking assault, someone whose response capabilities went far beyond annoyed glares and middle fingers. The consequences that followed were so immediate, so publicly humiliating, and so perfectly justified that this moment has become required viewing for anyone who loves watching entitled people discover that actions have consequences. Welcome back to the channel where instant karma isn't just served, it's delivered with a side of public humiliation and a garnish of legal consequences. If you're obsessed with watching horn honking maniacs get exactly what they deserve in the most satisfying ways possible, you've found your people. Before we dive into today's absolutely legendary instant karma moment, we need you to smash that like button like it's a horn you can't stop pressing, and drop a comment telling us what city you're watching from. We love our family. Comment your city, hit you that like, and let's watch this fool learn a harsh lesson. The horn terrorist's behavior escalated at each intersection, each encounter, each moment when reality refused to bend to his entitled expectations. At East Ontario Street, he encountered his next victim, a UP's delivery driver double-parked while making a quick drop-off. Hazard lights flashing, following standard urban delivery protocols that every city dweller understands as necessary for commerce to function. Our antagonist pulled up behind the delivery truck and unleashed a barrage of honking so aggressive that the UPS driver, a 20-year veteran of Chicago roots, emerged from the building literally running to see what emergency required such urgency. "What's wrong?" he shouted, concerned someone was injured or in danger. The horn driver's response, captured on building security cameras with audio: "Move your truck. I don't have time for this." The delivery driver, realizing no actual emergency existed, shook his head in disgust and returned to complete his delivery properly rather than abandoning professional responsibilities because some impatient jerk had a functional horn. This refusal to be bullied into rushing sent the horn driver into an even deeper rage. He honked continuously for 45 seconds straight, not short beeps, but one sustained blast that sounded like a dying elephant, causing pedestrians on the sidewalk to cover their ears. A mother with a baby stroller hurried past, shooting angry looks at the SUV. An office worker filming from a window posted to Twitter, "Some psycho is laying on his horn on Ontario for literally no reason." Hashtag Chicago traffic, hashtag main character syndrome. The UPS driver completed his delivery, returned to his truck, and moved forward exactly when his job was done, not a second sooner, to appease the horn terrorist. As he passed the SUV, He made direct eye contact with the driver and simply shook his head. A gesture that communicated more disappointment in humanity than any words could convey. The horn driver responded with "You guessed it, more honking," now directed at the departing truck like a toddler, having the final word in an argument he'd already lost. The horn terrorist's behavior escalated at each intersection, each encounter, each moment when reality refused to bend to his entitled expectations. At East Ontario Street, he encountered his next victim, a UPS delivery driver double-parked while making a quick drop-off. Hazard lights flashing. Following standard urban delivery protocols that every city dweller understands as necessary for commerce to function. Our antagonist pulled up behind the delivery truck and unleashed a barrage of honking so aggressive that the UPS driver, a 20-year veteran of Chicago roots, emerged from the building literally running to see what emergency required such urgency. "What's wrong?" he shouted, concerned someone was injured or in danger. The horn driver's response, captured on building security cameras with audio: "Move your truck. I don't have time for this." The delivery driver, realizing no actual emergency existed, shook his head in disgust and returned to complete his delivery properly rather than abandoning professional responsibilities because some impatient jerk had a functional horn. This refusal to be bullied into rushing sent the horn driver into an even deeper rage. He honked continuously for 45 seconds straight, not short beeps, but one sustained blast that sounded like a dying elephant, causing pedestrians on the sidewalk to cover their ears. A mother with a baby stroller hurried past, shooting angry looks at the SUV. An office worker filming from a window posted to Twitter, "Some psycho is laying on his horn on Ontario for literally no reason." Hashtag Chicago traffic, hashtag main character syndrome. The UPS driver completed his delivery, returned to his truck, and moved forward exactly when his job was done, not a second sooner, to appease the horn terrorist. As he passed the SUV, he made direct eye contact with the driver and simply shook his head. A gesture that communicated more disappointment in humanity than any words could convey. The horn driver responded with "You guessed it, more honking," now directed at the departing truck like a toddler, having the final word in an argument he'd already lost. What happened next elevated this driver from merely obnoxious to genuinely despicable. As he progressed down Michigan Avenue, traffic ahead slowed significantly. The reason became clear within seconds. A funeral procession was passing through an intersection, led by a hearse carrying someone's loved one to their final resting place. The procession included approximately 15 vehicles, all displaying funeral flags, all moving at the respectful, slow pace that civilized society grants to those mourning their dead. Every driver at the intersection showed appropriate respect. They stopped. They waited. They granted the funeral procession uninterrupted passage, as both law and basic human decency require. Every driver except our protagonist, who apparently viewed grief and death as inconveniences to his schedule. He began honking at a funeral procession. The audacity, the complete absence of human empathy, the staggering entitlement required to honk at mourners. Witnesses later described feeling physically ill watching this unfold. The honking didn't stop with a single beep. He laid on the horn repeatedly, each blast an auditory assault on people already experiencing one of life's most painful moments. Dashcam footage captured faces in the funeral procession vehicles turning to look at the source of this disrespect, their expressions mixing grief with disbelief that anyone could be so callous. One elderly man in the third car visibly mouthed words that were almost certainly not complimentary. A Chicago police officer directing traffic for the funeral procession noticed the honking and began walking toward the SUV, his expression darkening with each step. But before he could reach the vehicle, the funeral procession cleared the intersection and traffic began moving again. The horn driver, apparently oblivious to how close he'd come to a citation for disrupting a funeral, simply continued forward, his brief encounter with potential consequences apparently teaching him nothing. But karma wasn't finished with him, yet not by a long shot. In fact, his education was about to intensify dramatically, and dozens of witnesses would be there to watch and applaud. 2 blocks later, the horn terrorist encountered the person who would become the instrument of his instant karma destruction. At the intersection of Michigan and Erie, traffic had stopped for a red light. In front of our antagonist's SUV sat an ordinary-looking sedan stopped appropriately at the red light, waiting for it to change like every functional adult does. But apparently, this driver believed red lights were optional or should change faster through the power of honking. He began honking at the sedan. Continuous, aggressive, served no purpose honking at a car that was literally doing exactly what traffic signals require. The sedan didn't move because the light was red. This seemed to enrage the horn driver further, as if reality itself was conspiring against him. He honked longer, louder, adding aggressive hand gestures visible through his windshield. Here's what the horn terrorist didn't know, couldn't see, and would very soon regret. The sedan he was honking at belonged to Detective Sarah Mitchell of the Chicago Police Department. Currently off duty, but driving a department vehicle home after working a double shift on a major investigation. The detective's dashcam captured her checking her rearview mirror with increasing annoyance. Watching this maniac honk at a red light like a malfunctioning robot stuck on one setting. When the light turned green, she proceeded forward normally. The horn driver tailgated her aggressively, continuing to honk despite traffic moving. At the next red light, he pulled alongside her in the adjacent lane and began shouting, though his exact words were lost in his own horn noise. Detective Mitchell, her patience exhausted after a 16-hour shift dealing with actual criminals, made a decision that would change this driver's entire day. She activated the unmarked police lights hidden in her sedan's grille and rear window. The transformation of the horn driver's face from aggressive rage to absolute terror happened in less than a second, captured perfectly on multiple cameras. Soon to become an internet sensation, forever immortalized, as the exact moment instant karma struck with the force of divine intervention. Detective Mitchell didn't just give this horn terrorist a ticket, she gave him a masterclass in consequences. She activated her radio, calling for marked backup units because this driver's behavior warranted comprehensive enforcement action. While they waited for backup, she approached his window with body camera activated. And what she discovered made the instant karma even sweeter. The driver's license had been suspended 3 months prior for previous aggressive driving violations he'd never addressed. He was driving illegally, had been the entire time he was terrorizing downtown Chicago with his horn. But it gets better. His insurance had lapsed. His registration was expired. His vehicle had an outstanding boot order from unpaid parking tickets totaling over $1,200. Each discovery was a new layer of instant karma. Each violation another nail in the coffin of his terrible day. When backup units arrived to marked Chicago PD cruises, the scene attracted significant attention from pedestrians and other drivers. The same people who'd been victimized by his horn rage now stopped to watch his downfall. Someone started clapping. Then others joined. Soon, approximately 30 pedestrians and stop drivers were applauding the police action. A spontaneous celebration of instant justice that was captured on multiple cell phones and immediately went viral on social media. The cherry on top of this karma sundae, because he was driving on a suspended license, his vehicle was being impounded immediately. A tow truck arrived while he protested, argued, and finally deflated into acceptance. The SUV, his mobile horn weapon, was hooked up and towed away while he stood on the sidewalk, holding his phone, probably contemplating how he'd explain this disaster to his insurance company. His employer and everyone who would soon see the viral videos of his public humiliation. Detective Mitchell issued citations totaling over $3,500, not counting the impound fees, the cost to resolve the suspended license, or the insurance implications. His horn honking spree cost him more money in 12 minutes than most people spend on car expenses in 6 months. The story of Chicago's horned terrorist became legendary in instant karma circles. Viewed millions of times, shared across every social media platform, and even featured in local news segments about aggressive driving. The driver faced consequences that extended far beyond immediate fines, mandatory court appearances, a longer license suspension, astronomical insurance rates, if any company would even cover him, and permanent internet infamy as the guy who honked at a funeral and got destroyed by an off-duty detective. But the real victory belongs to every person he victimized that morning: the elderly woman with the walker, the UPS driver, the funeral procession mourners, Detective Mitchell, and every pedestrian whose mourning piece he shattered. This instant karma moment proves that society has mechanisms to handle entitled behavior, that patience isn't weakness, and that sometimes the person you're honking at has the authority to completely ruin your day in the most legal, justified way possible. If this instant karma satisfied your soul, smash that like button and comment what city you're watching from. Subscribe for more stories where entitled drivers learn expensive lessons. Drive respectfully, show patience, and remember that car you're honking at might belong to someone who can make you regret everything. Thanks for watching.